Beth Rosengrant here again. I was just going over my problems, Dr. Peswitz, and I recognized that when I did this problem, because teachers make mistakes and none of my students yelled at me to say, hey, you did that wrong. When I was doing the problem, 5/6 minus 3/12, and we need to find the least common multiple. We found it to be 12. This one we know has to go by 2, so that's 10. This one stays the same. I added, just like I said, teachers make mistakes, so the answer is actually 7/12, not 13/12. You have to excuse me because teachers make mistakes too, and I was just in my mind and I didn't subtract, so fixing that one. Okay, now we're going to talk about finding the mistake. When I was looking at these, the finding the mistakes, I noticed that, I can't put that up there. These all seem to have the same common issue, and I believe it was the common denominator. So when I'm looking at these mixed fractions, I changed them into numbers. So I took 5 2/10 and turned it into 52/10. Where am I at? And then minus 1 1/6 becomes 7/6 equals 4 1/4, which is 17/4. So we know this is incorrect because you can't subtract the common denominators, and that even applies to fractions. So each of these are incorrect because they don't have the common denominators in their fractions. So if we were looking at this problem, we would see that we have, I think it's going to be 60 for these. So we know it's 6. That's not right either. The next problem is B. So that was A. You need common denominators to add fractions, and we did not have common denominators. In detail, what's the correct fix? Maybe I don't want to do this one. B, I have a question for the professor. I have looked at these, and it's 14 and 45 equals 1/5. 26 over 63 equals 2/3, and 13 and 34 over 1/4. So I'm looking at these numbers. I even looked at it very extensively, and I'm trying to figure out what the mistake is. Are they looking for greater than, less than, or equal? And these are all equal. Are you looking for common denominators? Because again, they don't have common denominators. So this B I had, it was kind of tricky. But C we can do again because we are looking for common denominators, and we don't have those. That's why these are incorrect. This is an incorrect because they added this up and turned it into this, and you can't do that. You have to have common denominators. So if we look at this, and we know 2 and 7, so it's going to be 14. 14 is going to be our common denominator for this one. So we have to take 7, and then times 2, 8. Whoops. Look, see, I'm messing myself up again. So it's 15. 14s, and they're in proper fraction, or it's an improper fraction. So we do the same thing here. 5/8 plus 1/5 equals, they have 6/13. Incorrect because you can't do 8 plus 5 equals 13. You have to find it. And we find that ours is 40. 8 times 5, 5 times 5 is 25. 8 times 1 is 8. So 25 plus 8 is 32 over 40. And then we have one more. I might have to erase. 2/3 plus 6 9s equals 8/12. Same issue here. They actually add those up. You can't. You have to find your common denominator, which is going to be 9. So we take 3, 6. You don't have to do that. So 6 plus 6 equals 12 9ths. that's how you figure that one out. So the errors for A are, again, common denominators, can't add fractions. B, can't decide what you're looking for. Are you looking for greater than, less than? Or are you looking for common denominators? I tried to figure it out. If you're looking for common denominators, then it would be, for B, the real would be 14/45 equals 9/45, or 26/63 would equal 42/63. If you're trying to find the common denominator, but that doesn't work for this. So if you're looking for greater than or less than, 14/15 does not equal 1/5. 26/63 does not equal 2/3. Because I thought, were you trying to simplify it? 26 divided by 63. Were you trying to simplify it? So this one was kind of tricky to me, finding the mistake. Now we're going to talk about integers in math in elementary school and how to respond to the following student. A first grader says 3 minus 4 equals 1 because the difference between 3 and 4 is 1. I would mention to the student that we need to remember that in any subtraction problem, we must have the biggest number in the front to be able to get an even number. This problem, 3 minus 4, firstly, I don't even know if that's a word. First, we have to see that this is not written correctly for a regular math problem. We usually have to flip it and turn it into 4 minus 3 equals 1 because 3 minus 4 is -1, and none of the students have been taught about -1. Another first grader said 3 minus 4 equals 0 because you can't have less than nothing. So this problem, this first grader is actually onto something because they said you can't have less than nothing. So yes, this is less than nothing, but they have not been taught that yet. A third grader says that 3 minus 4 is an impossible problem because it just can't be done. Also, kids onto something. You can't take something away from something that's not there. For instance, 3 and you subtract 4. There's no way to do that because you don't have that many. So they're saying it's possible because you just can't be done because you don't have that many. 3 minus 4. Because if we're taking 3 minus 2, you have 1, 2, 3, and 2. So then you're going to take 2 of those away, and you know you have 1 left. Here, we took away 3, and there's still 1 that's missing. So it's impossible. So the thinking on these are all excellent thinking. I like that they're using their problem solving and using their brains. Is this correct? None of these are correct answers at all, but like I said, I like how the students are thinking because they are making problem solving. They're trying to figure it out. Why is it like this? Why would you even ask this question? So none of them are correct, but their aspects of thinking are good thinking, good way of thinking, because you can't have less than nothing, which is obviously what a negative number is, and an impossible problem because it just can't be done. Because the third grader doesn't remember that we learned how to subtract negative and positive numbers. It's just not in their head yet.